Good morning and welcome to the Public Service Commission. We are here on an application for a Class E household goods certificate. I'm going to recognize our attorney, Ms. Besley, to read the docket, please.
Good morning, commissioners, parties, counselors. The South Carolina Public Service Commission will today hear docket number 2021-136T, which is the application of Sullivan's Junk and Moving, LLC, doing business as College Hunks Moving, for a Class E household goods motor carrier certificate. This hearing was duly noticed for today, Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021 at 10 o'clock a.m. The parties and witnesses are present. Vice Chair Belzer, the docket is in order.
Thank you, Ms. Besley. We'll now take appearances from counsel.
Charlie Toraney for the applicant.
Thank you, Mr. Torini, and welcome.
Thank you.
Office-
Jenny Pittman, sorry,
No, go ahead.
Jenny Pittman for the Office of Regulatory Staff.
Thank you, Ms. Pittman. And I failed to take roll call of the commissioners. If we could see the screen, please. Virtually, we have Commissioner Thomas, Commissioner Powers, Commissioner Caston, and Commissioner Irvin. Present in the hearing room, we have Commissioner Williams and Vice Chair Belzer. Our Chairman Williams is on leave today. Any preliminary matters before we begin with the testimony?
Well, Chairman Belzer, I would move to introduce the application into evidence. At this time, it's Exhibit 1.
Okay, let's do this. Hearing exhibit number 1, that's the application, and that was the document filed on April 20th. Is that right?
Correct, with a corrected page 7 filed on June 7th.
Okay. So that is going to be a composite exhibit, or are you going to offer that separately? Just your
I
preference.
would suggest a composite exhibit. If it
Okay.
pleases the commission.
Application with the amended FWA dated June 7th. Okay. Those will be marked as a composite exhibit as hearing exhibit number 1 and entered into the record of the case.
And, I would next move to introduce the affidavit of the shipper witness, which was filed on June 16th as Exhibit 2.
Hearing exhibit number 2, the affidavit will be marked as hearing exhibit number 2 and entered into the record of the case. Ms. Pittman, if you have any objections, speak up. All right, Mr. Torini, anything else?
No, ma'am, we're ready to proceed.
Okay. Ms. Pittman, anything from you at this point?
Nothing from ORS.
Okay. Mr. Torini, please call your first your witness.
We call William Sullivan to the stand.
Let's see.
Good
Where's
morning, everyone. My name's William Sullivan.
Just a second, Mr. Sullivan. Let's get you on the screen. I'm not sure where he is. There he is. Mr. Sullivan, would you please raise your right hand for the court reporter to administer the oath to swear you in?
In the testimony you're about to give, do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Mr. Torini, please go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Sullivan, did you prepare or cause to be prepared 6 pages of pre-filed testimony in this docket?
I did.
Do you have any corrections or additions you wish to make to your testimony?
No, not at this time.
Fair. If I ask you the questions in the testimony, would your answers be the same today?
Yes.
I move to introduce the pre-filed testimony of William Sullivan. Who's down in this time?
The pre-filed testimony of Mr. William Sullivan will be read into the record as if given orally from the stand.
Madam Vice Chair.
Yes, sir.
This
Commissioner.
is Stephen Powers. I hate to interrupt, but Mr. Sullivan is not showing up on the video. Is there a reason for that?
let me get the folks in the back they're working on it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Powers, is he visible now? Commissioners, can you see the witness?
This is Commissioner Thomason. I can see the witness, yes.
Thank you.
I can. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Mr. Torini, please proceed.
Mr. Sullivan, did you have two exhibits to your testimony which were filed in amended form on June 19th, 2021 with the commission?
Yes,
A tariff is Exhibit A,
yes,
and a bill of lading is Exhibit B.
correct.
And the bill of, do you have any changes you wish to make to the tariff at this time?
No,
And as to the bill of lading, in paragraph 4 in the terms and conditions, a customer has 7 days to make a claim for damaged goods. Would you like to change that to 30 days to match your tariff?
yes,
Okay. With the amended, with the changes noted by Mr. Sullivan, and we'll file a copy, a new copy with the commission, I would move to introduce exhibits A and B into the record.
Mr. Torini, exhibits A and B as amended with the filing from June 19, 2021 will be marked as do you want that as a composite or separate?
I think a composite would be fine.
Okay, as composite exhibit, that will be marked for identification as hearing exhibit number 3 and entered into the record of the case. And you stated you will follow up with a corrected version of the bill of lading. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Sullivan, where are you from?
I'm from Columbia. I was born and raised here. Spent a little time at Clemson until 2019 where I graduated, but ended up back here.
Let's talk about your educational background for a minute. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Spring Valley High School
Okay.
in Columbia.
And you went to Clemson. What'd you study?
I studied applied math with a computational emphasis.
Okay. And I noticed in your testimony, it jumped out at me, you're kind of bashful about this, but you finished first in something. Your fraternity? What?
I finished first in the college. I did at a 4.0. Won a couple little awards on the way, but I just really spent time studying. Just try to do the best I could every day. And
A 4.0 in math?
yes, sir.
You're a scary dude, though, liberal arts major like me, I'm telling you. That's very impressive.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Summa cum laude, right?
Yes, sir.
Good man. Let's talk a little bit about your professional experience. What's the first business you started?
Yeah, so back in high school, I did a iPhone and computer repair company. Started that right after my freshman year, and I did that all through freshman year of college until I stopped that to focus on school and finish that out. But that was really really fun. Learned a lot along the way, probably more than I did in school, honestly. But it was everything from dealing with customers. Had one employee part-time that would help me out when I got a lot of devices in, and then also the supply chain side, dealing with stocking items, dealing with suppliers, getting things in on time because there's always delays, and just overall business management from financials to paying taxes. That was a fun thing to learn about when that finally came around. But that was my first real world experience in the business world. Obviously I put that on hold when I went to school, and then now I'm trying to get back into owning my own business and getting back in that everyday grind.
Well, but you are holding a job now, or at least you have up until now.
Yes.
And I believe you worked in it during college as well.
Yeah, interned after sophomore, junior, and senior year summer for tenant wealth management. We're a full service wealth management firm. I got my Series 65 FINRA license.
What's a Series 65 thing?
That allows one to provide financial advice for a fee. So that's kind of the where I've been working since 2019 when I graduated in December.
So you're a financial planner? Or is
A
that?
financial advisor.
Financial
A lot of my time is spent more on the analysis side
Mhm.
for our portfolio manager. So digging into the financials, using a lot of my math skills I learned.
Mhm.
That's kind of where I've been, where my roles kind of fallen. But I still spend some time, communicating with clients in such.
Yeah.
So
So, and that's tenant?
yeah,
Well,
TENET, Tenant Wealth Management, based out of Camden, South Carolina.
okay, and they have an office in Columbia.
Off Forest Drive, yes.
Okay. So what makes you go from wealth management to the moving business?
Yeah, it was kind of a long journey. But my mom, she's in the real estate business. She's been doing that for a while. And my brother actually worked for a moving company for almost 2 years now. And so that's something that, I've been aware of. And then ever since last year, when everything just started going crazy, my mom's been kind of banging the idea around, and my brother as well, that we should, provide moving services in the state. So, in doing my research, it's kind of what I have been trained to do. I've been doing a lot of research.
Your mom's a realtor?
Yes, she's a
experienced
broker. Yeah, broker. She's been doing it for a while.
She was your shipper.
Yeah, she was one of them. And but yeah, just in doing the research on how to get everything started up, I came across the franchise route. I explored a couple franchises, and then the college Hunks team did the franchise discovery day, and just meeting everyone, the support they have, the procedures in place. I was just blown away, and I knew that if I was going to do it, I think having this team behind me would just make it so that I'd be able to focus more time on the parts of the business that matter, providing a good service, and they would handle a lot of the back end stuff for us.
Well, let's talk about that because I've dealt with several franchises, but I found this one to be really interesting. Tell the commission a little bit about the support services College Hunks offers to someone like you. Your brother has got experience in the moving business, and is he going to be involved in?
Yes. No, he's definitely going to be involved from day one for sure.
Okay, and what about the experience or the training and support that College Hunks has provided you and will provide you?
Yeah, so just to start, before you open, you're given a ramp up coach, someone who's opened over 150 locations now at this point, and they just guide you through every process to finding a good lawyer to help you get your tariff and application submitted, to getting insurance, trucks, etc. So that's really business focus. But then alongside that, we do both an on-the-job training. So this was up. I went to Jeff Moss's location in Wilmington, North Carolina, and they're doing crazy good numbers up there. Over 2 million a year in moves. And so we spent the week there, my brother and I both, just doing both actual technical training from managing the team to the office management as well. And then after that, there is just a full franchise training week that they held down in Tampa, Florida. And this was alongside a couple other new franchises that are opening across the country. And they did everything you can imagine, from setting up payroll and handling HR, marketing, training on how to actually move things.
I was going to ask about
safely,
yeah.
And whatnot. And then from an ongoing side, they handle the training of all the new employees. So I don't think I'm going to be moving too many things personally. Anyone I hire has to go through a training course provided by the franchise to make sure that they know not only, physically what to do, but also, when communicating with the client, and keeping everything. So everyone, at the end of the move's got a big smile on their face and nothing's broken and everything's where it needs to be.
Okay, good. And, what are you have coaches? Is that right?
Yes, we've got coaches, who really just, we're a team under the franchise, right? The better I do, the better they do. So they've got a few coaches in place, who, have owned locations that have done really well. And their job is to coach us on how to kind of live up to what they've done. So there's, a ton of things. We have a weekly call every Monday, me and my coach, that we just go over, whatever topic there is to discuss that week. And that's just an ongoing thing, where you be in constant contact with your coach, throughout the whole process, that you have your business open. And they're just, there to bounce ideas off and answer questions that come up because they know everything they've pretty much seen before.
Does College Hunks provide technical support?
Yeah, they do. They provide pretty much any questions or any issues that come up.
No, I meant like back office stuff.
Yeah. Oh, so for the back office, they've got software. They call it Hunkware, which has so many cool
We're
things.
taking this too far.
Yeah. But they have a move estimator tool. So you take your iPad when you do an estimate, and you enter every item. It's called an inventory quote, and so they know large couch takes this many minutes to move, and dressers, depending on how much clothes there are, and it'll give you a pretty accurate quote, based on the entire inventory of the house, right then and there, that you can show the client. So that'll give us a pretty good estimate. Obviously, it's charged by the hourly rate, but that providing an accurate estimate is kind of key to everyone being happy at the end, instead of thinking a move is going to be 1,000 and it ends up being 1,500. We can see from the advance, well, this might only be 1,000 square foot house, but all these large items are going to take a while. So that's where our quote's going to be higher than average. And they also provide a call center. So they have a full call center with, I think it's over 250 employees now that service the entire country. But they don't not only book jobs, but they also handle, if a week before the move, someone needs to call and reschedule, or they have a question during the move and can't reach the office. That call center has, a lot of tools in place that they can assist with any question that someone might have. If a damage occurs that's not noticed till after, they can call that and we can start the claims process. So they provide a lot on that side as well.
Now, you mentioned hiring and training. Do you plan to hire employees?
Yes. I plan to hire between 4 and 8 to start, and then we'll reassess as things progress.
Okay. Are these employees going to be on your payroll, or?
Yes, it'll be W-2 employees.
Okay. So are you going to carry workers' comp insurance?
Yes, I do have the workers' comp quote. I think it's included in our insurance quote.
Get a little bit of sticker shock from it?
Yeah, for sure. It's expensive industry to insure, but that's something that I don't think I would be worth passing on that.
Well, you're the son of an experienced lawyer in Columbia, so I think you've got a pretty good idea that you want to get some comp insurance.
You got to have the coverage for sure.
So, and you mentioned that College Hunks will help you train these folks as well. Their problem.
No, the training is big.
Will you do how are you going to find these people?
Yeah, I mean, they do a lot on the franchise with like Indeed. The Career Plug is a service they use, which posts on a lot of job sites. But also, my brother, he's in college. He's a good worker. He's got a few friends that want to work, part-time, full-time, etc.
Does he's worked for local movement?
Yeah, so he's worked for a local company.
Okay.
So he kind of knows what to look for too in hiring someone. So he'll be helpful as well.
Okay. How many years? Your brother spent a few years in the moving company.
Yeah, about 2 years now.
Okay.
He's done a lot of moves.
And when did you started your Sullivan Junk and Moving company? And let's explain that. You've got Junk and Moving, and then College Hunt Moving, and at some point somebody might see College Hunks Junk and Moving.
Yeah.
What's the rationale?
Yeah, it's the whole it's two sides. It's college hunks hauling junk and college hunks moving. So there's a junk removal side as well, which trying to keep separate from this stuff, but it's all under the same LLC. And so those trucks on the side have just college hunks hauling junk on them. They don't have the moving. But in some of the advertisings, it will have both hauling
Okay.
junk and moving. So, but they are two separate services.
You started your business in August of this year, I believe. You opened the LLC earlier this year.
Yeah, I think it was in March.
Okay, March.
Yeah, March.
Any judgments against your business? Any liens?
Mm-mm.
How about against you personally?
No, never.
Okay. And
Mr. Tarini, hold on just a second. Have we lost the commissioners? Can you see the witness still? There we go. Thank you.
okay. All right. And have you ever had your driver's license suspended?
I'm not.
Anything like that? Convicted of a crime? No.
No, sir.
Got a clean record? Good. How about equipment? Do you have a truck?
Yes, I just I've got a lease on a 26-foot box Ford F650 diesel, 2022 model year. That should be coming
Melissa, I'm going to share.
a couple of weeks. But yeah, that'll be the main the main moving vehicle. I also have a Ford Transit van for mainly for just moving small stuff. Providing the estimates, box delivery for clients who will need boxes or other packing supplies. But that 26-foot truck's going to be the workhorse of the company to start.
Okay. You don't have it yet, but.
No, but I mean it'll be here within the next couple of weeks. I've
Okay.
got all the paperwork done.
And have you found insurance for this truck?
Yes, through Progressive, and then also the cargo insurance, general liability, and then the workers' comp as we discussed. In the cargo, I did a $50,000 limit instead of the $25,000 limit.
Okay. And at 60 cents a pound, that's a lot of cargo.
Yeah.
You cover. And liability insurance is $1 million. I think.
Yes, 1 million. Yep.
Do you have any equipment, like dollies or blankets?
Yeah, I've got about 60 moving blankets, just the standard 72-inch ones. A couple dollies. I've got a couple of the appliance dollies coming. That'll be delivered. I was purchasing those with the truck, so those will be in the truck when those show up. Your boxes, obviously, those are coming soon. Tape, shrink wrap, padding. The big TV crates for moving, those really thin, expensive TVs, keep those protected. And those are pretty much the standard, obviously tools to disassemble any large items that need to be disassembled. In mattress bags, that's the other big thing.
Okay, good. How do you plan to market your business?
So the franchise handles online through the PPC, through Google and Bing.
PPC being
Pay-per-click. Yeah, pay-per-click. So that's where, just based on the other territories, that's about 80% of the jobs. Also, Home Advisor and Angie's List, having things set up there to, also get leads from that. And then as well as just any local marketing, join the BNI group, just getting the word out there. And then also, just by doing good work, I'm pretty sure that we'll get some jobs. And my mom being a real estate broker wouldn't hurt as well on top of all that.
Get some referrals.
Yeah.
Okay. And where do you see your business going in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I see us with a lot more trucks, a lot more people. Hopefully we're focusing on kind of the main Columbia area for right now, but kind of expanding the territory as we grow that we service. But really I see trying to be more in line with where the other franchises are. So somewhere between 1 and 2 million in moves a year is that'd be the long-term goal to accomplish. I'm excited to try to do it.
All right. Let's talk about your tariff and bill of lading for a minute.
Okay.
The best way, I think, maybe to get you to explain them is, let's assume that I'm in Columbia and I've got a rancher in Forest Acres with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. You're familiar with Forest Acres?
Yes.
And I come to you and say, I'm moving to, West Ashley. And I want to hire a college Hunks. What do we do?
Yeah, well, the first thing was we want to schedule an estimate. So, go by, we walk through the house, get an inventory of everything that's there, as well as things that might show up in the meantime, which they tend to do from what I've heard. And, from there, we can, after walking through the house, we can get a pretty good idea of what the estimate will be. Then we can kind of sit down and go over that estimate, and then also kind of discuss if packing services are needed, or if the client yourself wanted to pack everything, and then from there we would set a date for the move. We would come in, get the bill of lading handled. We'd start our clock as soon as we leave the office. We'd show up, we load everything onto the truck. We drive to the new destination. We take everything out, unwrap all the blankets, try to take as much, moving trash off as we can. And then at the very end, we kind of add whatever time it is to travel back to the office, just using Google Maps. And that would be, the total hourly charge. And, we would multiply that by whatever the applicable rate was for the number of movers and trucks selected. And then from there, we would add any packing supplies, and that would be the total bill final.
Customer signs.
Yeah, signs the bill of lading, everything.
So it's a paper transaction.
Right here, yeah, paper transaction. And then, from there, hopefully we had no damages and nothing was wrong. We'd be on our way.
Okay. And do you understand you need to keep a copy of
Yes.
the bill of lading?
Yep, and each one's uniquely identified and numbered.
Right. And when we print the bill of lading, we're going to add your PSC number to it.
Okay, yep, which I don't have yet.
Yeah. All right. Madam Vice Chair, that concludes my examination of Mr. Sullivan. I tend to run to the ORS and the commission for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Torini. Ms. Pittman, any questions for Mr. Sullivan?
No questions from ORS. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pittman. Commissioners?
Madam Vice Chair.
Commissioner Powers?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Sullivan, you're obviously a smart man choosing not to go to law school. And I congratulate you on that. I've been reading your tariff as well as your application. Is it you and your brother the owners, or are you the sole owner of the business?
I'm the sole owner, but he's going to play a good part in a lot of the day-to-day operation side, and I'm going to focus most of my time on the back office side, getting employees, doing estimates, the marketing side, et cetera. And he's going to typically focus a little more on the operational side of it to start.
Will he be a salaried employee?
Yes.
Okay. What would be your number of employees starting out?
Planning about 4 for the moving side. Might increase that somewhere between 4 and 8, depending on what their availability is time wise. But probably around 4 for full time, and then if they are part time, up to 8.
Will you and your brother be the drivers, or will some of your employees be drivers as well?
Some will be, if they're fit, typically for insurance purposes, we want them to be over 25, or you're going to get pretty steep premium you're going to have to pay if they're not. But anyone that's, obviously if they have a clean driving record, and they are comfortable and they can comfortably drive that big truck, then they would be driving, of course. But I think my brother and I probably, to start, would be the main drivers.
Okay, well, as far as you and your brother starting out, what about your driving record, your 10-year driving record? Is it clear? Do you have any violations that we should know about?
No tickets or anything. A couple parking tickets in there, but nothing serious.
Okay. would you be willing to furnish your and your brother's driving record to the commission as a late filed exhibit?
Yes.
Okay. And your packing or unpacking fee, you say that's just part of the hourly basis. Is that
Yes,
correct?
and that would be done separately, typically like a day before, maybe 2 days before. And that's just, if for whatever reason the client doesn't want to pack their own items, they want someone to come in and pack everything. We come in, 1 or 2 days before, go through, pack, label, and just get everything kind of prepared. So when we do come on move day, everything's just ready to grab and go on the truck.
Okay. Well, your balance sheet's kind of nice. When you get this truck, apparently you're getting it through some help with the franchise company.
It's going to be an operating lease. So that's how that's going to be. It's going to be, I think, $19.45 a month operating lease. And at the end of the term,
Don't spend your 100,000 out front just to get vehicles.
yeah, no, we're doing those leases. At the end of the term, it'll be like a $1 buyout, so we'll own it at the end. But that by doing the operating lease, we can really control that Section 179 deduction. So we can, because our first year, we're probably not going to have too much paper profit. So we're going to try to minimize that deduction first year, and then kind of push that all on the back, and we're hopefully showing a better profit.
All right. And I noticed that you said your bill would include the time driving back to the office from wherever you deliver stuff. For example, if you deliver stuff to Beaufort, you got to drive back. I would hope your drivers don't drive like city employees, and that you could almost, with the state, everybody knows what the distance is and pretty much what a driving time is. There should be some limit on that, or some forward explanation to the customer on that.
Yeah, like I said earlier, we just use Google Maps. So we get to the final destination, and when we're done, we quickly see, oh, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes by Google Maps to travel back. We just add that to the quote then, and then the customer would pay at that time through either cash, check, or credit card.
All right. When I was in college 100 years ago, my roommates and I used to help this company from Virginia when people would come in and help them unload. Will you be using part-time help for that?
I think so, just depending on how the how the schedule is looking. We might have to get part-time for certain things like that if we get busy.
Okay, well, if they're untrained, you mentioned you've had some training. If they're untrained, are you going to add them to the rate as a full-time trained person?
Well, the franchise typically wants everyone that does move anything to go through their little online training course. So that'd be something. I mean, they can do it at their pace, get a pretty good idea, and then I'd still want, before we actually put them on a real job, have a little dresser in our office that they can kind of show us that they know how to actually wrap it instead of just watching a video. Because you can watch a video on anything, doesn't mean you know how to do it. Just to make sure. But I think everyone that would do anything would have to go through at least that basic training that they provide online.
Will you have a process as far as any drivers you use to have their driving records and to be familiar with that?
Yeah, we've got a full background check for not just drivers but any employees, and the driving record is something that comes back on that criminal as well.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and good luck to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Powers. Commissioner Carolee Williams.
Thank you, Vice Chair Bustler. Mr. Sullivan, good morning to you. I've got a
Good
couple.
morning.
Good morning. I've got a couple of questions, and I'm wondering if the camera's going to switch.
Yeah, I'm wondering that too.
Awesome. Now I can see you, Mr.
There you
Sullivan.
go.
Some questions that are just kind of I'm just being curious. I noticed that you advertised in the Post and Courier, and I wondered how you selected that versus a Columbia paper.
That was through Charlie's recommendation.
I can speak to that if you'd like, Commissioner Williams.
Yes, please.
The Post and Courier is a statewide newspaper now. It circulates in Columbia, it reports on Columbia. The regulations require newspaper general circulation. Post and Courier, quite frankly, its publication rates are much cheaper than the states. And so I choose it for all of our applicants.
Thank you. I appreciate that information. Mr. Sullivan, in your tariff, you have charges that are different for different times of the year, and I'm curious there just what the
Correct.
thinking was.
Yes.
Yeah, so moving during the summer is kind of, the hot time. And that was through the franchise's recommendations that, it's a supply and demand issue, obviously. If everyone's being booked up in the summer and people are still calling, asking for moves, we can probably charge more to meet that demand. So that's just kind of where we've looking at the competition and the other franchises in South Carolina. We've kind of arrived at these rates to start. And then, again, we might change them one way or the other as time goes on. But that's just kind of from their study of when bookings really occur and, trying to drive the profitability, but, also, saturate the demand that's there during those months.
Thank you. My next two questions are kind of a little bit more on the picky nature. Page 6 of your tariff, when you talk about it, 2.5 packing and unpacking, and it's 2.51.
Yes, 2.51.
You talk about in the first sentence about not charging an additional fee for packing and unpacking. I found it a little bit confusing. Let me tell you what I think you're saying is that you're going to charge the same rate. Really, the second sentence, the packing rate is the same as the hourly rate.
No surcharge.
Do you need that first sentence?
Honestly, no. I mean, I guess it does, it provides clarity, but I could see how it might be confusing for some. But I can defer that to Charlie as well, what his thoughts were. But we kind of arrived at that just to, some people might think, oh, if we don't pack, it'll be extra, but it's just adding to the hourly rate.
We can delete it, Commissioner. It's been language from the standard tariff. It's been around for a long time, but I think you've got a point. We can take it out.
I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I think it's the word additional that causes the confusion. And I think you're saying you're not going to charge a separate fee. So that's another thought for how you might resolve it.
I like that wording better, actually, yeah.
Or
separate fee.
I'm kind of in the legal territory now that I'm unfamiliar with, but will you file that as an amendment to your tariff?
Yes, we will.
Awesome. And the last one is in your bill of lading, page 3 of 3 of the electronic submittal, page 2 of the bill of lading, delivery, item 6. I think you've just got a little typo in there on the second to the last line under, it looks like Excel, but I think the word might be accept.
Yeah, there's a little typo there. Good catch. A little parenthesis as well.
Thanks very much and good luck.
Well, thank you for pointing that out. Thank you.
thank you, Commissioner Williams. Commissioners, any other questions?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Urban?
thank you. Mr. Sullivan, good to have you with us today. Wish you all the best in your new endeavor.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm wondering, Where is your physical address for the office going to be located?
I've got a lease currently. It's 5608 Pine Straw Road, 29206. It's a warehouse flex building. It's got 1,600 square feet warehouse space, little roll up doors, and about 500 square feet of office, 2 little offices. But the big thing is it's got a lot of parking out front for the big trucks, and room for more trucks too, hopefully down the road. So that's what I'll be kind of home base operating for at least the next 2 years. That's my lease on that property.
Good. And are you planning to offer customers overnight storage there?
Yeah, if that's a thing, there's a overnight storage charge in the tariff, if that needs to happen. But yeah, that is an option.
Okay. And when you purchase the franchise, do you have a geographic area that you can do business in?
I do, yes.
What is that?
It's I can pull up like the zip code list, but it's most of the zip codes just east of the river down Columbia. It kind of goes from downtown up to Blythewood, over to Camden, and then down to Eastover. It's kind of that. It's about 400,000 population, and then I've got a deposit on the other side for like Lexington, Chapin area, West Columbia. That's about another 400,000 population, but they want you to at least spend 6 months focusing on the first zone before you kind of spread out your service.
Do you plan to do any interstate moves? In other words, taking
Not at the start. We're going to try to focus more on local to start, and then eventually kind of parlay into that, because there's some other regulation around that.
right? Okay. And so, but you will have the opportunity later with the franchise agreement to expand to other areas in the state. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, and the territory is just for origination address. So if like there is a territory down in Charleston, but if someone's moving to Charleston from Columbia, that would be I would service that move. But if someone's moving to Charleston to Columbia, the Charleston location would service that move.
I understand. Well, you've answered all my questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Urban. Any other commissioner questions? Mr. Sullivan, I have a question. The affidavit from the shipper witness is Elizabeth Sullivan. Is she any relation?
Yeah, she's my mother. She's been in the business for a while. She's a broker. We also had another witness, but it was an e-signed version that didn't really come over well. But I'll have that one. We can file that, the original copy, when he comes back in town. But his name's Jay Graham. He's been in the business for quite some time as well. So I think with the two of them, we've got a pretty good pedigree.
Do they work together?
No, Jay Graham he's a separate firm, Graham Realty, and then my mom works for Home Advantage Realty.
Okay. Thank you very much. Commissioners, any other questions? Okay, during commissioner questions, I believe Commissioner Powers asked for a late filed hearing exhibit on the 10-year driving record. We will mark that for identification as hearing exhibit number, excuse me. Did somebody say something? We'll mark that for identification as hearing exhibit number 4 and admit that into the record of this case. Also, with questioning from Commissioner Carol Lee Williams, I believe there are going to be some corrections to the tariff. Is that correct, Mr. Tarini?
Yes, ma'am.
So we will ask for a late filed hearing exhibit on corrected tariff. We will mark that for identification as hearing exhibit number 5 and enter that into the record of the case. Commissioner Williams, you have a comment?
Is there not also a change on the bill of lading?
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Well, I think we entered the bill of lading and the tariff as a composite exhibit, so we will do that here as composite exhibit, late filed composite exhibit with the corrected tariff and corrected bill of lading.
Chairman Belser, I have a question. Is the shipper witness, Elizabeth Sullivan, adequately witness testified that one of the reasons he got into the moving business was that she kept saying that she needed movers. I mean, so I just need to know if I need to supplement with Mr. Graham's shipper witness affidavit when he comes back to town, or if we've satisfied the commission.
Mr. Torini, that would probably be something that would be coming up in deliberation, so
Okay.
I'm not telling you how to try your case.
Thank you.
Okay, any redirect, Mr. Torini?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Sullivan, thank you for your testimony and presentation this morning. You may stand down as a witness.
Thank you. Appreciate everyone's time.
Mr. Torini, anything else to present in your case in chief?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Pittman, anything from ORS?
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Yesterday on June 21st, 2021, ORS filed a letter indicating that we would not be filing testimony in this docket, that based on our review of the application, its amendments and the other filings, and a review of the applicant's records and equipment, we find that the applicant meets the requirements of fit, willing, and able to operate as a Class E household goods mover in South Carolina. At this time, I'd like to move our June 21st letter into the record as the next hearing exhibit.
Any objection? Hearing none, ORS letter dated June 21st, 21 will be marked for identification as hearing exhibit number 6 and entered into the record of this case.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. While we did not file testimony, I do have Mr. McGill present with me today. If the commissioners have any questions, I'd be happy to put him on the stand.
Commissioners, any questions for Mr. McGill?
Vice Chair Belzer?
Commissioner Williams?
Thank you. I would like to have Mr. McGill
All
sworn in.
right, thank you. Just a second. Ms. Pittman, would you call Mr. McGill?
Yes, thank you. At this time, ORS would like to call its witness, Mr. Thomas McGill, to the stand.
Okay, Mr. McGill, please be sworn by the court reporter.
Good morning. In the testimony you're about to give, do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Mr. McGill, would you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Thomas McGill.
Thank you. Ms. Pittman, anything?
Just real brief, Mr. McGill, by whom are you employed and in what capacity?
I am employed by the South Carolina Office of Regulatory Staff and the Safety, Transportation, and Telecommunications Department.
Thank you so much. Please answer any questions the commissioners may have for you.
Thank you, Ms. Pittman. Commissioner Williams?
Thank you. Good to see you, Mr. McGill.
Yes, ma'am. Great to see you.
I'm hesitant. There you are. Okay. Would you please describe what your inspection included and what you found? And did you go to the particular site that was described when Commissioner Irvin was asking questions about the location?
Yes, ma'am. I did not actually go to the address that the applicant has described. I don't think that lease agreement was completed at the time of the inspection. But when we did meet, we discussed through all the paperwork that he had filed, the application, the tariff, and the bill of lading, addressed any concerns that we had, and the things that would need to satisfy commission requirements in order to get the certificate, and also to help us form the opinion that the applicant was fit, willing, and able to operate as a mover in the state. And in those conversations and in that meeting, we did come to that conclusion that he was fit, willing, and able.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioners, anything? Any further questions? Mr. Torini, I didn't mean to omit you, but do you have any I probably should have called on you first. Do you have any questions for this witness?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Pittman, anything from you?
Nothing further from ORS. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McGill, thank you for your testimony today. You may stand down.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Pittman, anything further?
Nothing further. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Mr. Torini, anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay, I'd like to thank the parties and their counsel, witnesses for being present today. We will close this hearing and notify you of a decision via a commission meeting. Please realize that we can't move forward until we get the late filed exhibits in. And thank y'all and have a good day. This
Thank you.